Watch and burn.
Hey everyone, so tonight I want to discuss We Summon the Darkness starring Alexandra Daddario, as well as Johnny Knoxville. Technically, he's in the movie a bit. He plays her father. And this movie is about a group of girls who are working for Johnny Knoxville's, I'm not sure if it's named actually. I've seen this movie a bunch and I don't remember if Johnny Knoxville's religious organization actually has a name. Because Johnny Knoxville, of course this movie takes place in the 80s, and that's when televangelism was running very high. People like Jimmy Swaggart and Jimmy Swaggart. If I'm not mistaken, if memory serves, he was caught banging a prostitute, smoking drugs in a motel somewhere. But Johnny Knoxville is sort of like the fictional equivalent of a Jimmy Swaggart, and his ministry is decrying the evils of heavy metal music like everybody was in the 80s, and how it was leading kids down this dark and dangerous path to satanic activity and parent murdering and animal mutilation and shit like that. So, of course, nobody knows that the Alexandra Daddario's father is Johnny Knoxville. The guys that they bump into and sort of seduce and talk into coming back to Alexandra Daddario's house with have no idea. They just think they're chicks who are into the same type of music. And so they get back there, the guys are drugged, and then they're supposed to be murdered in a satanic-like fashion in order to continue to convince the mass media and people in America that this Satanism, heavy metal thing is really bad, because currently at this point in the film there is a serial killer at large wiping out teenagers, and of course it's very quickly revealed that it's not a teenager, it's Johnny Knoxville's, or percentages of Knoxville's congregation, who have been tasked with going out and killing people and blaming it on, Iron Maiden and Satan. And for this particular round, his daughter and a couple of her friends are tasked with wiping out a few people and blaming it again on Satan and Metallica. So they do it, they drug him, but of course everything kind of goes sort of haywire here, and the guys fight back, and the girls were absolutely amazing in this. I mean, it goes to show you every time, it doesn't matter if you are physically stronger, if the person you're attempting to defeat is crazier than you are, chances are crazy will always beat strength, as in physical strength at least. You notice that most times, like if the person's completely out of their mind, it doesn't matter if they're smaller than you, they're not going to stop until they're dead. And if you don't have the parts to put them down, well, they have the parts to put you down, and they're not going to stop coming. So you can see how crazy outweighs, physical strength. And that's sort of the case here. The guys in this situation weren't the biggest. The one dude was, but he's murdered right away. So the two smaller guys are left. And nonetheless, they're still technically stronger than the girls, but like I said, crazy always wins. We have some activity here. I come to this school to be alone to do these, and every time I come here, it suddenly becomes like a free-for-all. I should probably get going, though, because I know the soccer game lets out at 8, and that parking lot's going to be a fucking zoo. So anyways, yes. I think my favorite thing about this movie was how right they got, like, the metal 80s. I absolutely loved, too, how on their van, at the end of the movie, you can clearly see a giant Anvil sticker. I've never particularly been into Anvil, but I thought it was cool that there was a nod to the band in this movie. I liked the clothing, the costume design. I loved the set design. Knoxville's house was gorgeous, and it was huge, and it was sprawling, and there was a bunch of places to fight through and hide in. And I wouldn't really say this was a game of cat and mouse, because a huge chunk of the movie has the last two guys locked in like a food pantry in the main part of the house, while the girls try to figure out how to get them out of there. And the girls were absolutely phenomenal. They were completely crazy. The one chick, of course, this was supposed to be her sort of initiation, and she wasn't able to do it because she likes the one guy. So she ends up helping him defeat Alexandra Daddario, who ends up being done in by her father when Johnny Knoxville makes his full-on appearance at the end of the film and explains to her how she has completely fucked everything up. And then she gets thrown out a window. And then, if I'm not mistaken, they run over her in the guy's truck, where you see the Anvil sticker at the end. And then they get away. So this movie, it's simple, but it's fun because the chicks are crazy and the guys are completely caught off guard. And that game of Never Have I Ever was a lot of fun near the start. And you could tell that this movie made really smart use of its budget. The movie definitely didn't have the biggest budget in the world, but it had a serious sense of production value. And okay, now, see, there's a weird noise coming from over there. There's nothing over there. There's just trees and fences and shit. That sounds like Bigfoot's walking through there. And I'm in, right now, a fairly populated area, unfortunately, because there's a soccer game going on in the field that's adjacent to the school, the parking lot that I'm in. And there's nothing behind me. There's just trees. And it keeps sounding like Bigfoot is walking through there. I'm serious, dude, like fucking Bigfoot, like something snapping large branches and shit on the ground. Whatever, I don't care. Nothing's gonna eat me. But what was I saying? I like the set design, I like the costumes, I loved the acting. Johnny Knoxville was great, of course. Johnny Knoxville, he doesn't get enough credit for being a serious actor. He plays this one razor straight, and he's completely evil and completely serious in this. There is no joking Knoxville here. The jackass Knoxville is nowhere to be found. And it's kind of sad that you don't see Knoxville in more things. I could argue the same thing about Alexandra Daddario, though. I feel like she is, I think I've said this before, that she is being criminally underused by Hollywood. What else? Kind of lost my train of thought with Bigfoot coming to get me. So I think I'll leave it there. So thank you so much for hanging out with me for a few minutes while I discussed We Summon the Darkness starring Alexandra Daddario and Johnny Knoxville. If you liked this review or whatever it was, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. I'm going to go before I get eaten. Have a good night. I just wanted to say thank you for making it through the entire video. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to remind everyone one more time, even though I've probably already done this in the video that you just watched, to please click the like button as well as the subscribe button because it helps this channel grow. And thank you for hitting like and subscribe, and we will see you guys really soon.